We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Are we having fun yet? I think we are. Although people have lost enough money, I'm sure, to be absolutely out of their minds. Now, if you're hearing me, please feel free to hit the like button and let me know. The Eagle King is not here today, and I set the stream up myself. So let's discuss a few things. Why is Binance coin in the top 3? Do the coins in the top 10 of the crypto market cap chart make sense? Answer, no. Is this a reversal? Yes, it is. Is this the oldest trick in the book? Namely, everyone leans one way and then some big player like Barron gets everybody going the other way and then they buy everything. I would like to welcome everybody to the 1980s, maybe even the 1970s, but really more like the 80s because it's the big guys that get you out. You know, it's the algorithm that ramped Binance coin to top 3 that then turns around and wipes everyone out. Everyone thinks it's all different. It's not. It's the same. It's the same mirage. It's the same hootenanny. It's the same thing that's happened at every generational low. Everybody in, everybody out. October 1987. Everybody back in again over, I don't know, the next 30 years. We have witnessed the ultimate cleanse. Crypto went to the spa. Barron, I don't know, insiders sold. And the market cascades lower, running every single possible stop, taking all altcoins to zero, making everyone wrap a narrative around the price action. I got guys DMing me going, crypto winter is starting now. Okay, well, we think there's going to be a correction, but this ain't it. And we even had the Banana Zone rally to have the correction. Again, everyone's talking about getting out and winter, and we haven't even had the bull market yet. And naturally, these type of things occur because undoubtedly there's nothing but bullish catalysts on the horizon for crypto. We can cover some of it, but we also could go back to a basic crypto playbook. So there's 2 playbooks, right? The 80s, which is big hedge funds get everyone out as they take it all, and then it goes straight up. That's choice 1. And then choice 2 is how Altseasons generally begin. According to a guy named Don Alt, discussed this briefly last week. Altseason formula. Ready? Nuke. Then nuke fully retraces. People realize that that was the dip. And then they don't get a dip. And then it's full send. And the guy that even knew the alt-season formula was too hesitant to call for it on crypto Twitter, which is classic, right? I mean, you know, no doubt some serious engagement farming going on with stuff like this, but I think this pretty much covers it. This is where Beeple thinks we were at as all the crypto apocalyptic zombies wander into McDonald's. And the thing that's really funny about it is that everyone's like, well, it was retail that got liquidated. No, actually it wasn't. Somebody brought this up. I think Wolf of Wall Street. And it's a great point. I was like, well, retail got liquidated. No, actually what retail does is they come in and buy spot through centralized exchanges. That's what they do. Who actually got liquidated? All the crypto native people, all the people who have been here for 6 cycles or 4 cycles, all the people who are crypto native. It was like a PvP thing, a player versus player, right? In other words, who are the zombies lining up to go into McDonald's? Ready? All the people who have been bullish crypto and know why you're bullish crypto for years. The people who actually read the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper. Now, another gigantic prominent figure out of the UK also had an incredible point where he noted that, leverage trading can be, problematic from a karmic point of view. In other words, you don't really make anything, you don't build anything, you don't help anybody. You're not putting, spot dollar investments into a project. In theory, like spot investors buy the coin to bid up the coin to allow the project to do something. When you're doing this leverage stuff, I get it. Professional traders do it, but you just kind of create money out of thin air, and I don't know that it works that way. The only people who create money out of thin air is Binance. They take all your money and then they bid up their coin into the top 3. And we will discuss what should be in the top 3. We'll discuss that. Because I think we're just due to how, your girlfriend, your wife, you wake up and they're just like, you know what? We're going to rearrange all the furniture in the living room. And you're like, honey, why are we rearranging all the furniture in the living room? You're like, well, because today's the day we're doing it. I'm like, okay. Any man who argues with that is barking up the wrong tree. And naturally, this goes for all different spouses of all different walks of life. But somebody says, hey, we're rearranging the furniture. Okay. So you know what? Let's rearrange the furniture. People have gotten their faces rearranged by this market. And I just realized that, we need to just do an altcoin daily. Like pull up the top 10 and just discuss it. Seriously. They're great at this. Okay. So what do we have in the top 10? We have Bitcoin. We have Ethereum. Okay, that makes sense. We have Binance coin. Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me. We have XRP. We have Solana near $100 billion. $100 billion for Solana. Like they're incorporating this into Apple Pay, but probably nothing. Probably nothing. XRP, same thing. Okay, then we start getting more mysterious, right? We have DOGE. Not hating on DOGE, but an interesting meme coin. It to be number 9. Okay. Tron, Cardano. Those coins are roughly 30 billion and they're held up by what exactly? Like, why are they worth 30 billion? Not hating on DOGE, but I'm just saying. Why is Chainlink the number 15 coin? Isn't Chainlink going to connect the whole world to the blockchain? Why is Chainlink number 15? That doesn't make any sense at all. And then we start to get deeper into makes no sense, should be top 10. Bitcoin Cash, aka the Roger Ver meme coin. Remember, Bitcoin Cash started this ramp, right? In other words, the whole rest of the market was kind of meh and then crashed. Bitcoin Cash started a rally, and Bitcoin Cash led Zcash, which then led Dash. Dash is a big coin in a big country in South America, which is in the crosshairs of, the U.S. Navy. So I sense capital flight wrapped up in this whole, what I call Bitcoin complex. So everyone is long Bitcoin. Everyone is long Bitcoin. And people have forgotten about all these baby Bitcoins that actually have added functionality and are not in ETFs and can't be suppressed by BlackRock and all these other characters who, can do organic and inorganic things to keep a lid on Bitcoin. There's no lid on Bitcoin Cash. None. And as you noticed, being a Zcash maximalist going back 3 years, there's Zcash number 41. There's no lid on this thing. Zcash is Bitcoin with a privacy option. Now, every transaction on Zcash is not shielded. You have to select privacy, but they are upgrading the network. They are scaling it. It's number 41 market cap, really. So Binance coin at 3 and Bitcoin with a privacy feature at 41. I mean, I'd love for you to stay for the rest of the show, but if you don't have to, you don't need to. I mean, you do, but you know what I'm saying. Zcash is at 41. Monero is at 38. Monero is a absolutely 100% private blockchain, period. It is the mother of all privacy coins. And we're at 38. 38 market cap, really. Polkadot at 39. Was Polkadot at $1? BitTensor, TAO, which, I watched an Instagram video that Toby sent me of some guy who says, yeah, I'm doing with TAO. TAO is the Bitcoin of the AI era. Interesting. Interesting, right? You know, so you have Zcash, TAO, Monero outside the top 50. I mean, Litecoin is worth more than those coins, and there's nothing wrong with Litecoin, but there are a lot of other Bitcoin style plays that should be in the top 10. And of course, there are going to be other layer ones that are going to be in the top 10. Avalanche, which was left for dead. I mean, they destroyed it 2 days ago. NEAR, all these layer ones, all the rails of the internet. Where is everybody? Hey, let's take Web3 and throw it in the garbage and go work at McDonald's. No, absolutely not. I mean, again, I understand that people don't get this because they weren't there for the 80s or they weren't there for the 90s and they didn't watch and sit there and watch these funds just wash everybody out. And of course, now they're doing it live on Twitter, where you can watch the wallets and you can do all this stuff. You can just watch it. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is manipulation. No, it's not, bro. No, it's not. I mean, yeah, okay. In one way it is. It's really not fair because these big players have such a huge advantage. But life is not fair. And they just caught everyone leaning the same way. That's it. That's it. And then, of course, this is the real evil twist, right? Columbus Day, Monday, is a weird day in the sense that the stock market is open, but the banks aren't. So wiring money into your margin accounts maybe kind of creates some interesting price action in stonks, but it may have also created interesting price action in crypto, right? Because there was no way to do a bank wire after the market closed on Friday. There was no way to transfer money from point A to point B in the U.S. until Tuesday. So the stock market's open, but the Fed and the banks are closed. So in my mind, no wonder everyone had to liquidate all their crypto. There was no way to get dollars. There was no way to get money anywhere using the fiat system. So everybody just had to sell. And then, of course, you have this cross margin thing where if you had margin in account A, but they allowed you to leverage all the assets in account B, C, D, and E, all of those accounts got liquidated. So you have a classic flush. You have the top 50 completely misaligned. You have layer ones left by the side of the road. So I ask you this, how high exactly can this market go up? Like you can say alt season, and then you can pull up the top 50 and go, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense at all, right? I mean, if you have American-made cryptos, if you have layer ones, and if you have what I would call the Bitcoin complex outside the top 10, then you can have spectacular rallies. Like you can just take like Zcash at a 0. Let's go to 2,000, no problem. Bitcoin Cash at a 0. Let's go to 6,000, no problem. This is all on Coinbase, by the way. And this is, you know what? Everybody in crypto is like, oh my God, I can't touch that stuff. Like normies are going to look at this and be like, oh, wow, you have orange Bitcoin and green Bitcoin and yellow Bitcoin with a Z. Oh, cool. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's already happening. Just that everybody was like too levered and too messed up to see it, which again is a secondary thing. They have you like completely distracted. I mean, this was like Zcash was happening like on the tape. Analytically, Zcash saved me. Thank God I wasn't like, pumping meme coins or some crazy nonsense. There are real trades happening. And speaking of real trades, I just kind of have to bring it up that, antivirus, the McAfee project, which I mean, we'll go into some more later, but they have a meme theme. The meme has an AI agent of a dead guy. They have their own cartoons, both historical and fictional. They are airdropping a mind-boggling DeFi. It's a privacy coin and a DeFi protocol for creating private stablecoins, which they're airdropping to their token holders. And every other privacy project has moved except that one. It's hysterical. Now, the good news is antivirus just hung around at 3 million while the whole rest of the market gyrated. But everyone's like, oh my God, privacy. Dude, Janice McAfee's widow, has been doing podcasts with guys with 1 million followers. They got 1.2 million followers on McAfee's main Twitter feed to market this privacy thing, this privacy project that's got mixers like Tornado Cash and Act Token has been mooning. I mean, folks, we are first inning on the future of money. First inning. Because they did Bitcoin. They haven't done ETH yet, which I haven't even gotten to. You know, we haven't gotten to like the basic charts. But when it comes to the obvious trades, like they're not obvious now, but they will be, right? Because everyone was like, oh, Zcash, oh, that's really interesting. And they ignored it. Everything was about liquidation. It wasn't about, oh, gee, what goes with Zcash? Like I go to the buffet. Okay, get some Bitcoin. Oh, and then I get some Zcash. I get some Bitcoin Cash. Get some Monero. I mean, get some Chainlink. XRP. Is this complicated? No, it's not. It's very simple. They washed everybody out at a generational low, and the entire crypto top 50 needs to be arranged. Other than that, there's no upside catalyst for crypto. And of course, this doesn't mention, like Toby sending me something, Apple Pay and Phantom wallets in Solana are going to somehow be integrated. I don't know whether that's truth or rumor. Mike Novogratz and Galaxy Digital, like they're all a bunch of dummies, right? Who do you think was hoovering up all this crypto at the bottom? Like, how did various players, like how did Jamie Dimon think there was a crash coming? Or how did Ray Dalio say you should put 15% of your money in gold? They were showing off that they knew that this whole thing was going to happen. And yes, the Chinese have problems. And yes, there are all these macro factors. And yes, there's too much debt. And yes, there's problems with fiat. And we know all that. But that's just additional fuel to the obvious crypto fire. Everyone's like, it's a reversal. It is. It's a V bottom. And again, Patreon Platinum, I gave it to the Patreon Platinum and the Patreon, the Spartans, the OGs that got the channel off the ground, along with the new roadmap, where I was like, in crypto, there's a very distinct history of V bottoms. Very distinct. The Gann model like lays it all out in addition to the new roadmap, which is right on the money. Right? And the old roadmap would have been right on the money, if not for the artificial nature of whatever just happened. And I can show you that on charts. Don't let me forget. Also in Patreon Platinum, we have like an emergency strategic portfolio ideas for the future of cool. Toby Ward did like a mic drop on a recent YouTube member podcast, which of course you should go check out. And she was like, yeah, this is coming back. I'm like, what's coming back? She's like, yeah, it's coming back. I'm like, no, it's not. She's like, yes, it is. Okay. She writes a strategy paper and I turned it into 6 picks. So that's in Patreon Platinum. And obviously the woman hasn't been wrong about anything ever. We talked all about it. I think we did 3 podcasts last week, right? Well, it's like all the altcoins you can eat, right down to the cryptotherapy hospital 2 days ago. Don't call it a comeback, people. We've been here for years, literally. And now is the time. She's been talking about this for 10 months, and everyone's like, yeah, it's over. It's going to zero. We're going to McDonald's. No, dude, it's not. The crypto market cap could go to 10 trillion. 10 trillion. We haven't done anything for 10 months. So we'll just do, I don't know, we'll do a couple trillion a month for 4 months. And it'll just go up only. Maybe we'll have a stock market disturbance somewhere along the way. Then again, maybe that was the disturbance. Maybe that was it. We're done. That was supposed to be a miniature dip, according to my model. It's like, okay, yeah, it was supposed to be like a final, Toby calls it wobble. I mean, okay, so let's talk about artificial price action. Let's just formally examine the nonsense that just took place, right? Because one of the things that they do, like when these things happen, they either do it on purpose or it's a secondary effect. They break all the charts. They break everything. And everybody goes, oh my God, it's turned. And then it's like, wait a minute, maybe not. Okay, so here's Gann, Bitcoin. These are fan lines. You know, you have this really nice clean break through the line after some gymnastics. It kind of looked exactly like this down at 91. The last time we all sold Bitcoin on tariffs. Okay, so it breaks out and then it crashes. It broke the triangle. It just broke everything. But to me, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That was outside the normal rhythm of the chart. And nowhere better was there something outside the normal rhythm than Solana. You had a beautiful cup and handle. You had a gorgeous breakout. You could have even rationalized this as a retest, which was even more beautiful, and then they destroyed it. They broke the whole chart. Now, the good news is they did take it down to the 62% retracement at 174. Considering what our Gann model thinks is the upside target, 174 was quite the bargain. But they tried to break the chart. They tried to break the cup and handle. Now, they didn't wake up and say, break the cup and handle, but that's what the price action did, and everyone changed their mind. But then when I look at it, I'm like, you know what? You can just take the eraser because it was just like, it was like a system-wide heart palpitation. Painful, yes, but real? No. I mean, if you go to ETH, okay, and then I'll stop ranting and go back to like what the actual tactical plan is. But, you know, ETH went to the 38% retracement of its recent up move and the bottom of a big open mouth triangle. Like what in any way is complicated about that? It's not. It's like the plainest Janus thing that could have happened. And then everyone's like, wow, the market's up 10%. I'm like, yeah, of course it is, dude. You drop the market to support, no one's long, and it goes right back up again. Because everybody was expecting the end of the world on Sunday night. You're not going to have the end of the world on Sunday night because Barron's orders all got filled and he's going to go buy a yacht. I mean, that's somewhere on Twitter today. You know, they just caught everyone leaving. I'm like, oh, this is the most insidious, awful thing ever. Oh, no, dude, it's just happening on Twitter. How do you think big hedge funds got to be big hedge funds? How do you think they got that way? They won an award for their intellectual genius? No. They're the big boys on the block. They just take everyone's lunch money. My business school professor was like, yeah, don't trade. Don't play someone else's game. The someone else's game is like Galaxy Digital and Binance and all these people that are hoovering up everyone's crypto. Everyone's playing someone else's game. They got smoked. And now they're just going to take it up only, which is, again, I brought this up the other day. You know, if this thing doesn't go down, if there's no stock market disturbance on margin calls or whatever, there's none of that. They're just going to take it up. They start ramming it because people are going to get confused, and that's what's going to create unbelievable FOMO probably later on in the quarter. So ETH, 4-hour chart, right? Basic stuff. Okay. So let's wipe out everybody below the support at 4,100. Just run every single stop. Make it DeMark 9 bottom, and then just go right back above the support and just sit there. So it's like a reset. It's a redo. It's like, oh my God, I can't buy ETH because it's up so much. Is it? They just did a V bottom and unwound whatever nonsense happened the other day. Look at ETH. Oh my God. This is the ETH weekly because we just had the ETH weekly close, right? Look at this DeMark line. I don't draw these lines, by the way. The system draws these lines. So don't tell me they don't know where these lines are. They know. DeMark is big with hedge funds. So they drop the market. They stop everyone out. They blow out everybody who's bought the ETH since July. And then they bring it back right above the line. And now we're just all sitting here at 4,100. And everybody's just all twisted up. And I understand people lost money. And I'm not saying nobody lost money. But I am saying that there are people sitting inside big hedge funds and big mutual funds looking at this going, oh my God, we got to buy this thing right now. That was the dip. We got to just market buy this stuff. I mean, 4,100 now with the system cleaned out versus 4,100 before when everybody was levered long, it was never going to go up because everyone was levered long. Now everyone's out. Now you got to get on the YouTube member podcast, and now you got to get in Patreon and get the picks, the roadmap. You got to find out what's going, how high, when. You got to have it. And again, it gets better. It gets better. Look at this. Avalanche Weekly. Mother of God. This was 2024. 1 down, 2 up, 3 down, 4 up. Final selling climax. 5 wave, 13 bottom on the weekly. Now, can they have gymnastics? Yes. Do you want a failed rally? No, you don't. Right? You don't want to get too excited. You don't want to have a failed rally. You know, there's going to be some indigestion, but on charts, can it get any better than this? Even Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, you know, gets emotional, goes through a big DeMarc point on the weekly chart at 120, makes a 5-wave top. It looks like it's the end. You could have made an argument. Like, I thought this was the start of alt season. Like, Bitcoin's done going up. That's it. But then miraculously, it basically corrects the whole 5-wave uptrend. That's what this A means. So first it looked very toppy. Now it looks like a pause that refreshes on a weekly closing basis. And then, I don't know, man, as if it could get any more mind-boggling, Zcash weekly. So Zcash is making a 9 top this week. So could you get a crazy parabolic move up in Zcash? Maybe. But Zcash was going up when the rest of the market was going down. So in keeping with the theory of 9 tops, you may get if you don't get a blow off top in Zcash, it doesn't go to right to 500. Can't say it's not. But if it doesn't, you should be happy, because this could be the pause that refreshes before that monster wakes up again. Again, the Zcash roadmap with multiple scenarios, right? Base case, Banana Zone, and Insane are located in Patreon Platinum. Okay, we discussed that also in the Patreon store, where this thing could actually go. And you'd get lucky if it sat still while the rest of the market caught up. I mean, there's no 13 top on this yet on the daily chart. You maybe got 2 more days. I know on the 4-hour chart, it's pretty overbaked with the 13 top, but you could still get a move to 325. In other words, what I'm telling you is you may get an opportunity in Zcash. Right? Zcash is not done at 325. The best case for Zcash is that it pauses while everything else goes up, which is distinctly possible. And again, I keep coming back to this. You know, you can take a lot of the minor lines off of it, but if you go back to the Roger Ver meme coin, which is what I call Bitcoin Cash, I mean, you know, you have had spectacular rallies in this thing. This is transactional Bitcoin. I mean, did you know that this area of Europe that he currently resides in, where he's fighting his troubles, he's got the whole town set up to take Bitcoin Cash. This is transactional Bitcoin. So we had private Bitcoin, transactional Bitcoin, sitting where? It's at 600. You're going to tell me you can't buy it. It was at 500. I don't know. It was at 384 when FTX started. This has done nothing. The high on this was 4,000. You don't think the market can go out and seek out these wick prints? Zcash printed 3,000. The high in Zcash was like 900, like 2021-ish. You don't think these things can happen? Oh, now I understand that everyone's all twisted up. So I know I'm making the point kind of forcefully. But what you got to do on a Sunday night is you got to go for a walk and you got to ask yourself, am I using my imagination in my portfolio? Am I imaginative enough, right? Am I looking at TAO as the Bitcoin of AI? I mean, I wasn't thinking that, but Big Rich was. And I was looking at, I was looking at, this Instagram thing that Toby sent me, and it was like, it was mind boggling that a guy who was originally into Bitcoin thinks, hey, let's go do this. A member had asked for Neptune Cash. Okay. Anonymous, succinct. Okay. Neptune Cash. There it is. $265 million market cap. And it looks cool. I love this. And one of the reasons why I love it, I don't know if that's the right Twitter, but here's the real reason why I love it. Look at antivirus. Look at this battle down over here. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. Hey, look at this battle down over here at the bottom of this big upward sloping channel. People are sleeping on Bitcoin Cash. They're sleeping on John McAfee. They're sleeping on the original privacy narratives. They're sleeping on Monero. They're sleeping on everything. Everyone's like, oh, I missed it. Dude, what have you missed? You have missed nothing. Like, they have taken every single major altcoin of the future and marked it down like a cheap suit. That's the old saying. My father used to call it a Cy Sims markdown. Sims was a major suit retailer in New Jersey. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. It's just 60% off. It's like, whoop, just cross out the price and just write 60% off everything. All right. And this is like literally holiday shopping time, because what happens is if you have a dip, or people are afraid of the knife experience or a failed rally or whatever the next excuse is to be worried, they're running out of excuses. They liquidated absolutely everybody. They're going to find out. They're going to know where everyone's crypto went. It's not where the money went. Everyone's like, well, somebody made $100 million and took it out and bought a yacht, and that money's never coming back into crypto. I saw some guy talking about this. Who cares about $100 million? Somebody made $100 million trading crypto. Whatever. That was a part of a generational flush out. Paul Tudor Jones made his name shorting stocks before the 87 crash. Now, of course, he's the man. I get it. But, and that's how you can make your reputation. But you make your money in the trend as an investor. As a hedge fund, the professionals, yeah, they catch the crashes. They can even make them. Right? But if you missed the crash, you got hurt in the crash, okay. People got hurt in 87, and anybody who came in buying everything was a gazillionaire. I mean, NVIDIA 1000x since 2014. You don't think that you can start adding zeros to certain numbers here with everyone heading for McDonald's? Did I mention the TikTok sentiment indicators? By the way, people may be watching this on TikTok. I'm not sure exactly how we're set up these days, but here is the TikTok sentiment indicator. Down move explained, 7,000 views. A generational low, 500 views. Right? It's like, oh, it's a disaster. Oh, I definitely want to watch the video about the disaster, but I don't want to hear anything about a generational low. I don't want to hear it. Like, we didn't go with any disaster thumbnails. It was like, stay calm, V bottom, reversal. I wanted to go with higher, but reversal works too. Everybody sold. The people who sold, and this is the sad part, the people who sold were the biggest believers in crypto, because that's why they were levered, right? That's why this thing can go back up so high, so hard, so fast. The people who got stopped out weren't dummies. Yes, they got caught. Okay, they got caught. They were walking along in the jungle. They thought everything was fine. They were eating some berries, and a giant bear or a giant monster came out and got them. That's it. But they were the believers. Now, the believers are all out, and now they got to get back in. And then all of a sudden, these numbers are going to look cheap. The top 50 needs to be rearranged. Why is ETH at 4,000 again? Wasn't ETH at 4,000 in 2021? What's really happened in ETH over the year? Nothing. 3,700, that's where ETH was back when it was at 2022. Everyone loves advanced statistics. You can have a lot of advanced statistics. I'm cool with that, but do you need them? Really? Do you need them? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Like, the believers are out and the believers are coming back in. And again, if guys like, I don't know, if guys like Barron or whoever was kind of in on the game, you know what? Good. Everyone's like, yeah, we want institutions in crypto. We want the big guys. Okay, the big guys are here. You just met them. In other words, you had like a 2013 style flush of like 20 to 30%, and everyone lost their mind. And again, there's another guy who points out Bitcoin went down 20%. I mean, NVIDIA is like 1,000x. And there's been, I don't know, a half a dozen, 20% corrections along the way. Really, if you think of Bitcoin as a stock, it's nothing more than a 20% correction. Now, they happen to do it like all in one day, and that's unpleasant. But so what? So what? And again, you may get lucky because this whole thing about margin accounts and people may wind up selling stocks and rearranging everything. Then again, everything seems to have a sunny side. Right now, after this scare, right? Because again, they fell for it again with the tariffs. I can't believe that, but they did. Big asset allocators are going to be looking to move money around starting on Monday and Tuesday, and undoubtedly they're going to start moving into crypto ETFs. Right? And if you were some investment bank or some institution like Galaxy Digital, and you knew that multiple crypto altcoin ETFs were coming, because clearly everybody's got the heads up about everything except us, you would just be indiscriminately hoovering this stuff up. Now, again, a failed rally would be bad. Retailers, bag holders, they're going to sell the first rally. People are so messed up. They may have to cover margin loans. You don't know. But I mean, honestly, can you look at this and tell me that the problem that existed last week still exists or ever existed at all? If anything, it should make you question what I talked about in the top 50. Like Binance Coin, Tron, Doge, and Cardano are ahead of Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, Monero, and I don't know, let's throw in Avalanche or Sui or something like that. Chainlink, right? Monero, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, and Chainlink. Why are those coins not in the top 10? And what would the market look like if they were? Like, everyone thought it was out of my mind in Zcash. Everyone thought it was out of my mind years ago. And then that thing just went. Because one day people woke up and they're like, oh, well, they're going to put this in the cross-chain universe because it has a privacy toggle switch. Most of the transactions are not shielded, but, going forward, this could be scalable Bitcoin with a privacy option. Everyone wants a Zcash deep dive. That's the Zcash deep dive. Now, if Zcash leads, right? Because what leads? The stuff that no one understands, no one owns, and no one knows how to buy. You can get Zcash on Coinbase, but I don't think anyone was looking at it. They weren't looking at it. It was like invisible until it wasn't. What's next? Maybe I said this before. I'll say it again. What's next? Zcash is the beginning. It's a leading indicator. So is Binance Coin, right? Binance Coin was this highly speculative, mysterious asset that's now top 3. I don't think anyone's going to be accepting Binance Coin at Christmas. It's just a amazing algo mirage. It's a testimony to what hedge funds and algorithms and big trading desks can do. If they wanted to go from the bottom left to the top right, they can, even without QE. And then if you start getting the Fed pushing liquidity into the system for all these macro reasons, right? You still got problems with multiple sovereigns. I don't have to go into it because it's so extensive. It almost doesn't matter. What matters is rates are coming down and liquidity is going to flood into the system. Again, the Treasury Secretary on Thursday was like, we're at the ready to make sure the system is stable. Like, they knew what was coming. And it may be a one-day event, or maybe the one-day event has some triggers to it. Like there's some follow-on reasons to buy crypto other than the fact that everybody was like, everybody got into crypto and then everyone went into McDonald's and then they're going to run out of McDonald's and then back into crypto. Other than that, there's a whole host of reasons. There's a gazillion macro reasons to buy crypto. How about crypto following gold? Does anybody remember that? Or does everybody just remember getting liquidated? Right? The negative things, they stay in your memory. The positive things don't. So, I don't know. Did you have to buy the market up 10% today? Maybe not. Okay. Maybe they have one more scare left in them. Who knows? Right. But at the end of the day, you just took a time warp back to the 80s. Because what we just saw, even though everyone's like, oh my God, this is unprecedented, it's manipulation. Nope. It's completely normal. Matter of fact, you actually want it. I mean, you don't want it, but you want it because that means we're a free market. They can't do these things in equities anymore. It happened in 2008 and they freaked out so much that, I don't know, they printed, tens of trillions to make sure it didn't happen again. So the fact that crypto can go through this, and by the way, I said this earlier, crypto can go through it. The market didn't function perfectly, but the market didn't shut down. Hyperliquid never went down. Okay. And we're just fine. You had altcoins print down, 60, 70, 80%. We're fine. Everyone's here. It's okay. That fact alone, the fact that you can have that kind of like smoke and fire, and then everybody come out and be like, oh, it's like Bugs Bunny and a Roadrunner, right? The TNT went off and everyone's fine now. So, I don't know why everybody got all upset. And I do know this. I do know that the level of undervalued assets out there, the amount of undervalued assets is unbelievable. Rarely do I do this. Now would be the time. Now they are doing a big airdrop. They're going to drop this Matrix token, which is absolutely unbelievable, right? This is all coming out, a private stable coin. But just look at what the team likes to do. They have a mixer like Tornado Cash cross-chain. They have eSIM cards where you can buy. They're doing $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month in private SIM coins, a private purchase, and then your online privacy. And then, which I think is really funny, not only do they have the complete story of John McAfee's life as a cartoon, but I think they're even branching off into fiction. So it's like a meme coin of a dead guy, and this is narrated by an AI agent. Now, that may be too much for some people, but when Zcash goes, this whole ecosystem goes. And there is an ecosystem. Like guys are already asking me, like, what about Neptune? What about R? What about Railgun? I mean, these were like Toby coins. Toby was in R and Railgun before anybody even knew what they were. The last time I looked at the Railgun chart was like, I don't know, for a customer. I haven't even looked at it because all these things have mooned so hard. This is the end. It's a one-off, right? Just like maybe back when NFT started. It was just one NFT project, right? It was just CryptoPunks. Like Zcash is the CryptoPunk of this next massive repricing. By the time that was over, you had Madonna and Tom Brady paying $600,000 US for monkey JPEGs. That's how that ended. Where are we on this? And again, CryptoPunks was something from like 2 cycles ago, right? CryptoPunks went back to like 2017 and didn't become, I don't know, some kind of blue chip art project until well into 2020. It sat there, just dead. How much stuff is sitting there just dead? And then one thing wakes up and then people just ignore it and focus on, this big negative event. Again, all the more reason why they all got you leaning the wrong way. Everyone's over here going, wow, this is terrible. Meanwhile, Galaxy Digital and all they've got all your crypto, right? Like, heard anything from CZ in the last 3 days? Not a word. He was like, hey, Binance coin, Altseasons. Yeah, Binance meme coins. Then there's not a word. Yeah, because he's got all your ETH collateral, or they were dumping it all into the market, with some big hedge fund taking it. Who knows? Because if you think the big trading desk, I got news for you. I worked at Wall Street. If you think the big hedge funds and the big trading desks don't work hand in hand, that's why big trading firms want hedge fund customers, because they can see and participate in all these huge moves. That's why Galaxy Digital has a trading desk. That's why they have a sales force, right? And now you're going to say, well, they're all in on it. They're all against me. No, they're just some huge player in a giant free market. Now, is some of this stuff a little bit too Wild West for my taste? A little bit, but it's the oldest trick in the book. The oldest trick in the book, right? Huge players, huge trading desks, making decisions on a market that's going to completely reprice itself. It happened in stocks in the 80s. It happened in stocks a couple times after 2008, where you had big drops and big players hoovering up every tech stock imaginable. This happens all the time. Yes, it was the worst crash in crypto history in dollar terms. But in percentage terms, in terms of what crypto normally does, it's like, this has happened before. Everyone's like, oh, I want to go back to 2016 in Bitcoin. Well, congratulations. You just went back to 2016 in Bitcoin. And if you're still there, if you're watching the show, congratulations. Dude, you made it. You're still watching the show. You can pull the covers back and get out of bed. You made it. You made it. Massive tirade tonight, I know. All right, let's see who's here. Hopefully the whole world. D-Gen Joe, what's up? To the Spartans, Bull Runner. Guess who, Chicken Boo? The one-person hedge fund, the Fuzz Crypto. Tyler Hall, members, Mojo, Noah. Richard Barry in the house. Silas, a member. Tooth. Shelly Farmer Allen. Right? Your Bass. Tango FN. Charlie, the positive cat from the antivirus universe. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have the last word with this Matrix airdrop and some of this stuff that these guys are building. Where do you want to be? You know what they say? Remember that thing from Careers? Where do you want to be in 5 years? That interview commercial? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I want to be in the McAfee universe in 5 years. Airdrop, staking. I mean, you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful, right? You make sure you know what day the catalysts are coming out. Oh my God. Zcash. I mean, Zcash is the beginning. Tex-Mex Biomex from San Antonio. Sir, welcome. The Schiller is in the house. Hello. Silas. Gavin Busby hitting those emojis. Welcome. Mark says Monero. Yes. Right. Powder deployed. Bill Sweeney. Graham. D-Gen Joe. Low market cap on Neptune, dude. There's lower market caps out there, but yeah. Zcash is low market cap. It's only number 49 or 50. Yav, a member, what's up? Crypto Crazy. ADD. Right? It's like, oh my God. I still got my suit from Sims. DC Precise. My dad hooked me up. Dude, I'm telling you. Toby has kind of like a fun way of talking about these things. She's like, yeah, I'm going shopping, but I don't really go shopping unless it's 20% off. Like, really, if you go to the store and you see something marked down 5%, it's almost insulting. It's like, oh, that's not a sale. A sale is 60 or 70 or 80% off, right? I mean, you should be able to walk into a department store and know where the 60% off rack is, because there's 3 women standing around it, like some sort of like wildlife video where they just, it's like, oh, they got to feed on that sale item. Where's that mentality in crypto? We're all going to McDonald's. Get out of here. We're not going to McDonald's. We're going to get crypto therapy, the Mystic portfolio. You're still early. Dude, you were early 3 weeks ago. You're even earlier now. Don't give me this thing Don't give me this thing in December that I missed it. I'm not early. They love to tell you that. Oh, you're not early anymore. It's late. It's late. You missed most of it, but if you buy my altcoin, you'll be okay. I've heard all of this. No. This is like round floor, first inning. It's a gift. And even if they try to, like I said, even if they try to hit it again, right? Even if they try to hit it again, if it doesn't work, then you know it's really going to go up. Yet you're actually hoping that they try to hit it again on something. You know, if they try to scare everybody again and it doesn't work, then remember, all of those crypto native people who got stopped out. It wasn't retail. It was the experienced crypto people who, frankly, if I can be cheesy for 1 second, who love crypto. They're in crypto for the love of the game. And, you know, they wanted to get massively levered because they've been waiting. And I get it. You know, being levered wasn't as stupid as everyone now thinks in retrospect. I was expecting a tiny dip like 120, from 123 to 120, and then off to the races. Okay, so they had to do something else, right? Because large players didn't own enough crypto, which is a good final point. Why flush the market like this? Why? Because crypto is in such short supply that they had to do some kind of gymnastics-based thing. Like everyone's like, well, I know who the culprit is. The culprit is fill in the blank. No, the culprit is somebody out front who distracted everybody with hyperliquid accounts from the fact that gigantic players like BlackRock, ARK Investment, Galaxy Digital, Tom Lee, Michael Saylor, all notably silent, just took everything. There wasn't enough crypto, so they had to liquidate the entire system. And when the entire system is liquidated and they still can't fill the demand, where's the market going? Did I mention they have to rearrange the entire top 50? You know, I used to work for a boss. I was at a football game with my old boss, and he's talking to somebody. And he's like, when I do my hedge fund, our base case for a gain is a 10x. Now, if I buy a coin and it doesn't 10x, then I'm going to be upset. Who talks about 10xing anymore? I mean, there's the meme coin trenches, but your average cryptocurrency or your average digital asset or your average crypto decentralized tech play is assumed it can't 10x. Like Chainlink can't 10x, TAO can't 10x, Zcash can't 10x, fill in the blank can't 10x. No one talks about that. I think now's a perfect time to start talking about it. You talk about a 10x when everything is just destroyed. And if you look at your portfolio, you go, can this 10x? Do I understand why I bought it? Yes? No. No? Make a different decision. We'd be happy to help you with it. Again, Patreon Platinum. We have like the future of what's next. It was so mind-boggling. I can't even tell you what the what next was. But Toby did a couple of reports. It was the ultimate tag team that's now in Patreon Platinum. Very outside the box, very inside the box roadmaps. And of course, you got 3 podcasts full of, you know, everything you could ever possibly want to know about why you should buy crypto and why this whole thing is laughably on sale. Laughably on sale. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely thank everybody who came in today, everybody who's been watching the channel. If you don't have any money or you have money, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button on the way out. Hopefully I shared the screen and did everything right. If not, the Eagle King will be back on Monday. We will see you tomorrow.